only have 3 days worth of dedicated writing time for the rest of the month. So it's time for me to hustle in this writing vlog. Yes, so it's the second week of June, and like I said earlier, I only have three, and if I'm lucky, maybe 3.5 dedicated full writing days left in the month. Because next week we are gonna go on a family vacation to see some friends and my family down further south. So yeah, and we won't be back until the first week of July. And even though I plan to also maybe write here and there during our vacation, it's not really dedicated writing time, and I wanted to enjoy spending time with my family and friends, and with my kids, taking them to the places that we used to go to when they were younger, which they probably already forgotten at this point in their lives. And with that said, let's do a quick update real quick. So if you've seen my last video, which is my Q2 review and Q3 goals chatty video, I've mentioned there that I was gonna film a summer writing plan for you guys, because I have a deadline now, because I have a dev edit due in October. But I've heard from my awesome editor, and she said that I pretty much have a say, or the say, on when I'm gonna hand my manuscript to her. So even though at the time that I made my Q3 plans, I planned my deadline on October 1st. But with that communication with my editor, at least I have a little wiggle room, so maybe I can stretch it the all the way to the middle of the month. But I don't want to rely on that pushing of the date of the deadline. And so even with that little caveat in my schedule, I'm still going to pretend that my actual dev edit deadline would be October 1st. So that leaves me with these 3 days in June and maybe 3 weeks in July. The rest of, well, not the rest of August, because the kids are gonna go back to school in August. So maybe most of August and most of September, because I don't think there's anything big that's gonna happen schedule wise for me in September. So originally, I wanted to finish the current draft I'm working on sometime in the middle of July, but I'm trying to be realistic here. I can be the Lulu, yes, but I want to be realistic and not stress myself out unnecessarily. So instead of that, middle of the month July, I'm giving myself middle of the month August instead. And then I'm going to hand my manuscript to my critic partner, Viola Vine, so she can check it out and she can give me some of her own feedbacks, while also doing my own read through of the manuscript, and I can compare her feedback to what I think I could fix, because I already there are some little fixes here and there, like in one of the earlier chapters, I wanted to take out a character or completely erase the interaction with that side character, and that would be just a quick fix. Even though I'm going to send the manuscript, the draft, to Viola with the same well, without the edits yet, I would at least know which edits I want to implement for the third draft, and I'm just gonna add her feedbacks on the ones that I didn't realize myself for the third draft. And then, since I'm hoping against hope that her feedback wouldn't require, like, overhauling half of the book for draft 3, I'm hoping that the revisions would only take the rest of September, and that's the hope. So yesterday, I managed to do some writing because our afternoon plans fell through. So I had the time to focus a little bit on that, even though I wasn't planning on doing any writing until today. But I had that chance, and so I took it. So I managed to finish the rest of the outline for chapter 30 and also rewrite for the second draft of the same chapter. About I finished about halfway through of that part. So today I want to work on the rest of that chapter, finish it up. Also at least write chapter 31's outline slash first draft about halfway through, so I can then work on the rest of that tomorrow, and also hopefully another half of the chapter for second draft. Now, I don't want to use word count goals as my metric for these 3 days, simply because it wouldn't be a good metric to use. Yes, I'm drafting, yes, I'm using new words, but because I'm drafting basically two drafts at the same time, it's not gonna be a good metric to see how far along I am. So instead, I'm gonna use um, chapters written as my metric in these 3 days as my goal. So in my Kanban board over there, I got chapter 30, 31, and 32 for my doing for this week, and hopefully I get to finish that because that's 3 chapters, but basically that's 6 chapters. One chapter equates to two because of, like I said, my outline is basically a first draft. So with that being said, it's time to actually start for the day. It's already almost 9:30. I'm already starting late as it is. So I guess let's just get on with it, and maybe later I'll get back to you for an update. Although I'm not sure because my kids only has 2 days of school left and they're coming home early for the day. So maybe I'll be able to update you today, or maybe not, but we'll see. Okay? So I'm gonna write as much as I can, do some long sprints. So I'm gonna come back to you when I can.
Hey, hi, hello. It's the following day now. It's the next day now. Um, and we're trying to be quiet because it's late and it's not night time. So, yeah, but I wanted to jump on here and update you guys real quick. I mentioned yesterday that I only have 3 dedicated writing days for the rest of June, and that still holds true. And today wasn't one of those 3 days because we had a lot of things going on today. It's my eldest's promotion day from 8th grade to 9th grade, and then after that we did a bunch of errands running around, but I had enough time after that I still managed to write some words. So update. um Yesterday I finished writing chapter 30, which you guys saw, and then I jumped right into starting the outline for chapter 31st, and I managed to finish about 1/3 of that before it was time to go to bed. Then today I finished the rest of chapter 31's outline, and it was a chunky outline. I think this is if I actually use all the words on this outline for draft 2.5. I didn't change anything. It's the longest chapter I'll have in this draft, but there's a big chance that when I rewrite it tomorrow, it might actually get longer. I'm gonna try to trim it a little bit, but I'm not going to sweat it if I didn't end up trimming it, or if I actually ended up adding more into it, just for the sake of making sure that the chapter has everything it needed to hold its weight. Because there are 4 scenes in this chapter, and all those scenes are maybe required to stay in this chapter. Maybe I can chop it in half or separate it for draft 3, but that's not a worry I want to have right now. I leave that to future me and deal with it. So what else did I do? So tomorrow I was expecting it to be a whole writing day, but my husband just informed me of our schedule for tomorrow. We had a few things that we needed to do, so I'm hoping that I'd be able to finish chapter 31 tomorrow. And then since it's a long chapter, it's possible that I would only have the energy to write that chapter, and then the following day I would start on the outline for chapter 32. Because earlier I also wrote down some ideas, scene ideas for chapters 32 and 33. It wasn't in my brainstorming notes that I did in one of my vlogs a few weeks ago. I basically only plotted the main beats, the major plot points on that brainstorming vlog. But yesterday, while I was finishing chapter 30, I got the ideas, yes, the ideas for the next scenes that I think would fit it to fit those chapters. So anyway, that's all I have for you right now. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hello and good morning. It's now the next day, and my husband just left for work, so it's now time for me to write and film. Anyway, so let's talk about the update that I have for the schedule of this week right now.
while I reheat my coffee. So, hopefully that's not too loud for you. So, I'm gonna be this close so the microwave doesn't interfere too much with what you can hear. So anyways, when I started this vlog, I mentioned that it's gonna be a 3-day hustle writing week. Basically, it's the only one I have. It's done. Okay, so basically, it's the only days that I have for the rest of this month because we're going on vacation next week and we'll be gone for about 2 weeks. So anyways, I filmed the start of this vlog Monday, technically Sunday night, but that's basically 2 hours of writing time Sunday night compared to a 24-hour day, right? So it's negligible, even though I started it that night. Anyways, so 3 days, and I filmed the start of this vlog Monday, and it's now Wednesday. Originally, my writing days this week, as I figured it out based on my family schedule and things like that for school and grocery shopping and other stuff that we needed to do during the week now that the kids are on summer break, was that Monday was a full writing day, and then supposedly today as well, and then Thursday, which is tomorrow. But as it turned out, what ended up happening is Monday was a full writing day, and then yesterday I managed about a half day writing day. So that's acceptable, I guess. And then today we're supposed to go do grocery shopping because before my husband goes to work, but that didn't happen. So we have to reschedule it for later after he comes home from work. So that leaves me it's about 10 o'clock right now. So maybe 4 hours of writing, I think, depending on what time he gets off work because their schedule differs. And then hopefully later tonight I can put in a few more hours to continue writing because I wanted to finish draft 2.5's chapter 31's version. Let me say that again. I want to finish the draft 2.5's version for chapter 31 because I finished the outline and slash the first draft version of it last night. So I wanted to finish that entire thing today. I wanted to finish that entire thing today, but it's gonna be about 6,000 or more words. Hopefully a couple of hundred less, but I'm not positive that's gonna happen. So a 6,000 word day is a big ask for 4 hours plus maybe another 3 or more realistically 2 later tonight after, dinner and chores and cooking and things like that. But I'm going to live in my Delulu space right now and say that I can do it. Maybe, hopefully. So that's the plan for today, and I'm hoping that tomorrow I can finish at the very least, the first draft version of the next chapter. So when I have a chance to write during vacation, starting next week, I have that already there, and it'll be easier. Draft 2.5 is easier because I have everything I need on the outline, the movements, what they need to say. I only I basically edit I basically do line edits while I'm rewriting, or move the paragraphs around, which is basically line editing. So basically I'm line editing the outline, and unless I change POV or realize that I need to realize that I need to change POV sometime during the redrafting of the chapter, then the chapter mostly stays the same structurally. So at least there's that. It's not too much of a change between the drafts for the most part. That's the hope for right now. And then Friday, I'll be taking my kids to the store. And since I don't drive, we're gonna walk into the store and we're gonna spend, I don't know how long we need to spend there to buy some stuff for their Father's Day gift to their dad, as well as some of our, how do you say it in English? We call it pasalubong in Tagalog. It's basically buying like keepsakes, I think. Buying keepsakes to take back, because we're gonna see my friends and family back to where we used to live before I met my husband years ago. So we're gonna be visiting friends and family farther south. And yeah, I think it's keepsakes. Yeah, we're gonna have to buy some of those, and probably some stuffs that I needed to pack by next week. So that's the plan. And then there's no more writing during the weekend because I'm gonna have to prepare our stuffs, the house, so I don't leave my husband with a bunch of chores by himself and still broken foot. So there's that. And I'm hoping to finish the edits for this vlog before we actually leave, so I can get this scheduled and taken care of. So the new vlogs or videos that I'll hopefully manage to film while I'm down there at my folks during vacation can get into the queue, because like I said, I've only been using my phone and my laptop, so storage is a tricky thing for me. I can't have too much in there because apparently I have hundreds of gigs already in my document that's taking up memory from my laptop, and obviously that's what I use to edit. So I can't have too much raw footage in there and editing them at the same time. Anyway, so that doesn't have anything to do with my writing for today and tomorrow. But yeah, so let's go start writing for the day. Yeah, it's about time. So I'll see you guys again later for an update. Okay, so that's the first sprint done. I'm gonna go take my pupper out to use the bathroom, stretch a bit, and then I'm gonna also grab more coffee, and then I'm gonna go into the second sprint for the day. So I'll see you guys again later. Hi, so we're back for our second writing sprint, and I just decided to jump into here real quick to a proper update from my last sprint because I forgot to mention any real updates for the manuscript on that. So anyways, I managed to write around 1161 words, and yes, I type all those words, even though it's almost but not all of it. It's basically from the outline first draft. I've managed to, well, I did rearrange some sentences and rewrote others for clarity, and also I changed one part of a certain dialogue for continuity purposes for the next scene that's gonna be in the chapter, because I didn't properly show that during this first draft. Anyway, so I guess that's it. That's all the update that I have that I didn't give to you guys earlier. So there goes my kid coming home from wherever he went, and the dog losing his mind. So anyways, let's move on to the second sprint. Bye. And I'm back. So we have an update for today, and that's, my brain's fried, but I have an update. So I left you guys before the second sprint. So my first sprint was 60 minutes long, and I set the second sprint up for just as long. But I started feeling, I don't know, it's just my energy went from regular to meh by the 30-minute time frame. So I only finished until the 45-minute time mark, and didn't actually finish the whole 1 hour writing sprint. And then, because that's how I was feeling, I decided to lower my sprint time for the third sprint, and I only set that up for 25 minutes, and also the same as the fourth sprint. But I still ended up all in all with 3,807 words. And I mentioned, hold on. I mentioned last night that I wasn't worried about the length of the chapter for now, and that I'll leave that to future me to worry about during maybe the third draft. But I managed to find, I think, a good separation stopping spot for this chapter. Then I'll write the rest as chapter 32. This leaves me with the third chapter in Lachlan's POV, one after the other, which is fine because I wasn't worried about, you know, the amount of POVs in each MCs. I just need whoever's gonna have, or who's ever gonna get the most emotional impact or knowledge impact or scene impact, basically whoever gets the most impact in the scene between those two, that's the POV that I'm gonna use in the scene, especially if they're together. Because this, how many scenes already? How many chapters already? I think there's at least, they haven't separated since chapter 29? 27? 26? They haven't separated since chapter 27. So, really, they're both experiencing it, but for the, including chapter 32, Lachlan is the most that's gonna gain something if we see the scene or read the scene through his POV. So, there's that. So now, I'm done for right now for morning, afternoon writing time. I told you guys, my brain is fried. I don't know why. I mean, I'm not writing new words for the most part, but I am analyzing while I'm typing the words that's from the outline. I'm analyzing each one, and I'm analyzing each sentence to see if they're in the right order, if I can reframe them or rewrite them, or, you know, better synonym for whichever adjectives and adverb is in each sentence. So I'm basically using the editing part of my brain while also trying to engage still the creative part. So I'm trying to use both at the same time, so it takes more energy. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense, because it makes sense to me. So I hope it makes sense to you. So anyways, I'm done for right now, and I'm gonna go head upstairs and get ready. So when my husband picked me up to go grocery shopping, we'll just have to go straight away. We don't have to waste time waiting. Well, he doesn't have to waste time waiting for me to finish getting ready. And then hopefully I'll still have the energy to continue to write chapter 32 later tonight, and to finish the rest of what's in this outline, because that's 2.5 more scenes, or 1.5, something around that area. So yeah, that's the hope and that's the plan. But I'm making Japanese curry for dinner tonight, and that's gonna require a bit of a prep and cooking, so I might not have the energy after everything's all said and done later tonight. But I'm gonna try, and I will definitely let you know I'll definitely let you know during the next clip, maybe, or, you know, I'll just pop in a b-roll for tonight if I started writing. Okay, so I'll see you guys again for the next one.